Okay, awesome. So hey there, my name is Kat Bijard and I am with Beyond Academics this summer, and I am talking to, maybe you guys could introduce yourself and the club, whoever wants to start.
Hey, my name is Gab. I'm African American Studies and history major too. I'm president of the African American Diaspora Studies Club.
My name is Kashima Person, and I'm the vice president of the club.
Awesome, thank you.
My name is Novinia Abiti, and I'm the secretary of the club.
Awesome.
My name is Roger Johnson, and I am the head advisor for the New York Black Society.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Cool. Well, thank you for all coming today. I am gonna first, let me just ask maybe a basic question. Do you guys like usually refer to your club as like the African American Diaspora Studies Club, or do you just shorten it, or like how do y'all say your name?
Usually we just call it like the AADS Club because I mean it's a long name. So it's like it's just shortened, like, and even with our social media, it's shortened to like AADS Club, UNCG AADS Club.
Okay, cool. Then I will just refer to it as that too. I just didn't want to like shorten it if that's not how y'all say it. Cool. So my very first question is, who is your club for? Who can come? One thing I know is that we actually have a major, like an AADS major on campus. So I guess I'm wondering, do you have to be in the major to come?
So the club is welcome to anybody, like anybody can join, but generally a lot of African American and African diaspora majors and minors join the club.
Okay.
But I also think that's like the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, but that's like the thing. Like people think like, oh, because it is the AADS club, if I'm not that major or I'm not that minor or I don't have anything to do with it, they can't come. But like that's not the thing. Like I have a bunch of friends that are different majors. My friend is I think communications major, and she's part of the club. She's the secretary or the treasurer or something like that. But yeah, like you don't have to be that major to be a part of the club.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great point too. And that's what I hope that we can kind of talk about today too, is like, okay.
I like to use myself as an example. I'm a biology major and I'm in the club as well, so it's open to all.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, because I think we should dispel some myths so that folks know that like you can be any major, you can be any, like it doesn't have to be just seniors, it could be freshmen could come, anybody could come. So cool, awesome.
Yeah, and then also like I guess another thing is like people think, oh, like you have to be black to be part of the club too. I mean, like yeah, that's a central focus of the club because you know African Americans is in the name. But like you don't have to be black to be part of the club. We open it to everybody, like, and you don't really have to like be specific major, specific minor, whatever. You know, it just depends on what you want to do. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, that's a great point too, because I mean, as y'all can see, I am a white person. And I mean, I think it would be, I mean, you know, depending on what you guys want for the club, but I think it'd be great if like people of all races and backgrounds could be like, hey, I'm really interested in this, and especially like with all that's going on around us in the world right now, but also for like ever. I think it's important that people can find a club like this and be like, hey, maybe if I feel comfortable, I could go and learn more. Cool. Next question, basic question. When and where does your club meet?
So we usually meet on the first floor of the education building. I think it's 104 usually. And it's really accessible. So if you need a wheelchair or anything like that, it's easy to like move a chair and pull up your wheelchair if you need that. And the room is usually pretty big. So.
Okay.
Sorry. We used to meet at like Thursdays at like, I think it was like 5 or 6, but I think it just depends on basically our schedule and also like everybody else's schedule too. Because I mean, we picked Thursdays at 6. I can't remember if it was 6 or 5, but we picked that time specifically because it was like a free time for all of us that we could all like, okay, we're gonna be here at this time, whatever. And then the meetings were usually like an hour or not even like over an hour usually. So like it just depends. Like if we have free Wednesdays next semester, it's probably gonna be Wednesdays. It just depends, honestly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you for saying that. And I also want to ask if, because of COVID, we have to do distance learning, like what do you guys foresee your club could look like or could be doing in the fall or spring?
I think that maybe doing like Zoom or Google Meets would be cool, especially because we plan on like having guest speakers. So I feel like that would be easy. And then like people can ask questions in the chat if they need them and stuff like that.
Yeah, awesome. That's
Exactly, and especially
no,
with
you're
Zoom
good.
meetings, like you can come in and out whenever you want. Like you can be like, okay, I can't be there at 2, but I can be there at like 2:30, whatever, and then I can stay for 15 minutes, or I can stay for whatever time, and like you don't feel restricted to be like, okay, I have to be there at 6, and I have to be there till 7, or whatever. So Zoom meetings are kind of perfect for that in that way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I feel like Zoom or online meetings are like so much more flexible. Like I think we were just talking about how in real, like in-person meetings, if one meeting is in one building and then you got to go all the way across campus, it's a lot harder. But I agree. I think this is like way more flexible. And I'm glad to hear that you guys plan on still doing something. I think the saddest thing is when I hear some clubs are like, yeah, if we're distance learning, we're just not going to have the club. So I
Yeah, I
definitely.
think the thing for us was just like when we got this club, well, not got this club, but like whenever we started like really getting invested in this club and got our positions and everything, we had kind of built it up from like nothing, because like nobody had heard of, people had heard of the club, but nobody was really attending the meetings and stuff like that. And so like we had a lot of things planned. Like we had a bunch of speakers planned, we had a bunch of discussions planned and stuff like that. So it's like for us to come back, we're thinking, okay, how do we take this and make it to our advantage and like make the club build even though there is this roadblock there, you know?
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think the worst thing that can happen for a club is like when people just are like, well, this is going on in the world or this is happening, so we just aren't going to meet. And then that's kind of when you lose a lot of participation. So I definitely think now more than ever is a really important time to get people to come out. Cool. So I heard you say that like you guys kind of have to decide maybe at the beginning of the semester, like, okay, when is everybody free so we can meet? So how, like if students are interested, how can they sort of like get in touch with you guys to like be included on that kind of like, hey, we're going to do Thursday at 5 instead of Wednesday this or whatever?
Well, we have like social media pages. You know, social media is the best way to get in touch with anybody these days. So we have like Twitter, we have Instagram, and I think, what else do we have? I think that might be it. But we have, well, I don't know, we have Facebook, but I don't know how to get into that. But anyways, so we have Twitter and we have Instagram. That's what most people are on. So like, I know a bunch of people follow our Instagram because that's like the best way to get in touch with people. So we would
Oop, you froze.
Okay, so as she was saying, we get in touch with them through social media as well. So you can follow us on Instagram or on Twitter.
Okay, cool.
We usually send out information now about our next meetings through like days before it's time. So if anybody sends us a message about the meeting time and everything, we can just get back to the person.
Okay, great. Yeah. And I think that would be helpful too, because I know that you guys have an email address.
Yeah.
So if folks don't have social media, although for the most part, I think everybody does. A lot of people do anyway. Sending a message or like maybe emailing. Let's see. I think she had to get off, but maybe she'll come back. But yeah, awesome. Well, I'm going to keep going with questions and maybe she can come back. Technology is wonderful sometimes. Awesome. So if we're meeting in person, what kind of environment can students expect? So maybe walk me through, if you can, like, when students first arrive into the classroom that you're in the education building, like what kind of students should expect when they first arrive.
Oh, so when they first arrive, we gave like some 5 minutes, like extra time for like people to settle in and everything. And then we start with the presentation of the day. So if it's the karaoke we are having, then we start with as much as people who are present at that time.
Okay. So it sounds like, hey, welcome.
Hey, sorry, my phone like overheated and it was like, just kidding, you're gone. So.
Oh my goodness. It also doesn't help that it's like 100 degrees outside right now, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely not. Sorry. So
No,
yeah.
you're fine. We were just talking about what type of environment can students expect? Like if we're on campus, if we're in the classroom, in the education building, when people walk in, is it going to be like everybody's chit-chatting, everyone's talking and kind of socializing, or is it like we all just, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, usually, Tashima's really good with like setting the mood and stuff like that. So she usually like picks a playlist or something, or she plays some music, and then like everybody comes in, they talking, chilling, and everything. Not like it's like we walk in and it's like silent or anything. They're playing music, we're chilling, we're talking for a little bit, waiting for people to come in, because not everybody's gonna be on time, because people can't be on time. So it's like you give people a little space, a little time to get situated and stuff like that. It's really chill and everything. And even like when we're in the midst of stuff, if nothing gets like too heated or anything, we're just kind of just chilling and having fun. Because like
Yeah.
I feel like for me, clubs are like the spaces where you can just be like chill and like be yourself. You're like hanging out with your friends, but also getting something out of it. So like for me, I wouldn't want my club to be like high strung, like everybody's competition and stuff like that. So it's just like it's a cool environment.
Okay, great. Yeah. We were just talking about how, like, usually there's like, maybe 5 minutes, maybe more of like talking and kind of just socializing. And then there's like a presentation. So would you say that you guys have a presentation like every meeting, or like what kind of like walk me through what students should expect when they come?
Well, usually we try to have like more activity-based things, because like we're already sitting in classes for so long. So like going to a club, I don't want to feel like I'm sitting in a class. Like I want to, like Gabby was saying, like you want it to be fun. So we kind of do activities. So last time we did like a game night, and then the winner like won a prize and stuff like that, just so like more people can get engaged and like talk to each other and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, like the first meeting was more kind of like informational and stuff like that. So it was kind of like we're just sitting there and there was a big presentation like, oh, this is us, this is what we're for, this is what we're about, this is to what you're supposed to expect. But like everything after that was kind of just like, okay, well, here we are, this is what we have planned for today, and that's it.
Okay, cool. So what I'm hearing you say is that you guys have some like more formal kind of days where you guys are like maybe telling about the club, or like maybe expectations, I don't know, something like that. And then other days it's like more social, more like interactive. Like you said, you had a game night. Do you have any other examples of like some of the fun activities that you guys have done?
So when we got this club, it was kind of like halfway through the spring semester. So like we didn't really have like a lot of funding, and we were kind of just like thrown into it. So like we only got the chance to have like our first meeting and then our second meeting, and then which was the game night. And then we had things planned, but like COVID came. So we couldn't really do those things, but we still had them planned to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, honestly, because, like, when we first got this club, we really didn't know what we were getting into. We kind of just thought, like, okay, we're going to get this club, whatever, we're going to make it fun. But the thing is, when we got it, like, the prior president, like, no, nothing against her, but she was really invested in, like, getting her schoolwork done and, like, just making it through her senior year. So she didn't really have that many meetings, and she didn't really get the word out or anything. So we were kind of just like trying to build from it. And then also she gave it to us like halfway through January, and then we realized we didn't have any funding. So then we had to have our first meeting and everything, get the word out, and then we had the game night like Tashima said. And then after that, the next event we had planned was canceled because of COVID, and then everything else after that was canceled. So we were just kind of like, okay, never mind. We'll come back next year stronger.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that you guys had like that many like hurdles, like first thing. Awesome. We kind of talked about it, but I asked about if there's any like social norms that students should be aware of. So like, it sounds like, you know, first come in, everybody's talking. It's a time to like socialize and like meet and see friends. And then, you know, I don't know, any other like expected interactions or like expectations of club members or people that come and participate?
So usually I try to make sure everybody kind of signs a sign-in sheet. So then like later, even if we don't even if they don't see what we post on social media, I can always shoot an email out to let people know like events that we're doing, but also what other groups are doing.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thanks. Does it cost anything to join the club or to be an active member?
Yes.
So the thing is, like, okay, it's yes and no. Yes, because like we have to have funding to like do what we want to do and like make the club fun. But honestly, we don't like require it. Like we're like, okay, let's say dues are $5, but like we're not gonna hound you over and over and over for the $5. And like if you don't have it, you're not allowed to be part of the club. Like we're like, hey, dues are $5. Hopefully you can give it to us. If you can't, it's okay. Like we're just here to try and help you out. We're not trying to drip you dry for some money. Like it's fine.
Because like just thinking about it, like we getting the money is more so for like if we wanted to get snacks and stuff or just anything extra, because like we said, when we started the club we didn't really know that you had to like put in like what you were getting before you got it. Like she didn't really explain any of that to us, so it was kind of like us finding it out ourselves. So yeah, but like with dues and everything, we just figured that like we're all college students, so we shouldn't really like try and make any hefty prices that they have to pay.
Yeah, and then also like she said, with like we didn't really know what we were getting into, and the fact that like what you don't know about clubs is that if you want to have events, or not even big events, but something like where you want to have snacks or something, you want to have like a movie or something like that, you have to put something in, like put the information in a month in advance. So like for us to plan these stuff, we have to be like, okay, we want to spend this money at this time a month in advance, or else there's nothing that's gonna happen. So like it's like yeah, we need the dues, but then also like we kind of have to figure it out for ourselves if we don't have the money. Like we had to figure it out this semester. We had to pitch in all of us and like put stuff together. But like, yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah, so it's kind of a learning curve for everybody.
Yes. And we are still learning and working on it. So hopefully we get better when we come back to school and everything goes on well.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I think it's a learning curve for everybody when they become like in a leadership position, whether in a club or like at your job or something. So like that makes sense. And I mean, I think we all were in a learning curve when like COVID hit, and then we were like, what on earth do we have to do? Like, what can we do now? So that stinks. But I think that, you know, I hear that you guys have, you know, you're really excited about coming back strong in the fall.
Yeah.
Let's see, how welcoming is your club to new people or beginners?
I say that we're very welcoming, especially like coming from the experience of us just getting the club. It's kind of like, yeah, like come in, we want you, like we want more people, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I feel like I feel like most of the people that came to our club, like especially last semester, were new people because like nobody really knew about the club, so like everybody was new. So it's not like we could be like, oh, who are these people? Like, we didn't know them, and we didn't know what to expect. So it's like, okay, everybody come on, let's go. Like, post it on social media. Like, tell your friends, tell everybody, tell your grandma. Like, everybody's welcome. Let's go.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I feel like hopefully some of the reason that we're doing this video is that so that we can kind of get the word out and hopefully advertise to new people. So cool. What would you say to a student who might feel intimidated or like uneasy with getting involved and, you know, they're just not sure? What might you say to them?
I would just say, like, it's okay to step out of your comfort zone, because I feel like that's when you find the most opportunities. Because I feel like freshman year, I was kind of like in a little shell and I didn't want to really go out and do anything. But when I did start going out and doing stuff and meeting new people, I was like, okay, I can do this. Now I can go to this by myself and I can do this by myself. So I feel like this is just like one step into something so much greater.
I guess I would say, like, bring a friend. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but I don't like to go to things by myself. I don't know what it is about me. I just don't like it. So I'll be like, okay, you're coming. You want to go to this little club thing? You want to go to this place? I'll bring my friend Bree, and I'll bring her everywhere. And I'll be like, okay, come with me. So it's like you don't have to walk in there like alone by yourself, like you're the only one. But also, like, I mean, it's not that bad. People usually aren't terrible and like will spit in your face or anything. So it's like if you do go there by yourself, it's pretty welcoming. But like I would say, bring a friend. I always bring a friend.
But then sometimes it's kind of hard to like find somebody that may have the same interest as you or something like that. So like just going in there and knowing like, okay, I know there's at least one person who probably feels the same way I do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it'll make things easier.
Yeah. I think.
I think the first step is just making the effort to go yourself. Like the first step is making that effort to just be there. It helps bring a lot of tension down and everything.
Yeah, I agree with all of you, you know, and I think it depends on the person, right? Like, I think having a friend there could be helpful, but then, you know, at the same time, it's like, well, what if I don't have friends that have the same interests as me? You know, at least if you come, you know, that you'll be surrounded, you know, just like what you said, just, you might find someone at least with at least one similar interest as you if you come. So awesome. Great. We already talked about how you guys market and advertise. It sounds like mostly like social media, but also you guys have an email. I'm happy. What I'm going to do is like share the social media pages so that people can kind of be like, okay, here's their Twitter handle, here's their Instagram page, all that kind of good stuff, so that people can have that. So how would you like to, you know, assuming that things are somewhat normal in the fall, whether we're in person or online doing Zoom meetings, how do you expect students to get involved with the club?
I feel like our students just staying like once we share our Twitter and Instagram, I'm going to put it in the chat box, but like them just staying connected with us online. I think it's easier to figure out like when we'll be meeting and what upcoming events that we'll be having. And then also the emails that I was talking about.
Okay. So looking for events, looking for meeting times, attending the meetings. Is there anything else like you would like students to do to engage? And thanks for that.
I feel like every time we go like and have a meeting, we always ask like, hey, like, what do you think we should do? Because like I feel like I have ideas about what I want to do, but everybody has ideas too. So like not just like okay, we're gonna go to this event because that's what they want to do, but also just like think of things about, okay, I want to see this happen in the club, and I want to see this. I want to go to this event. This is an event I was thinking about, stuff like that. So just like also your input too.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think going and being a part of a club is more than just like sitting there and listening. but also like really participating and giving ideas. Like even, I'm sure, you know, everybody's got an idea. They may not be like the best idea, but I think that's the point, is to like get them out there and see what other people think. Yeah. Does your club socialize outside of club meetings?
I feel like everybody within the club has at least one other friend in the club, like at least, like bare minimum, because like I feel like they're always talking, and then they're always like, just, I don't know, they just seem so like friendly, like they know each other. I'm not really sure, but it seems like at least one other person knows someone.
Yeah, and it's like most of them came in with their friends, so like they already know each other before coming in. And even if you don't know anybody, like the first few minutes before we begin our meeting, you can use to like say hi and meet with other people.
And then also, Brody, the one who was just in the chat, like he is in another, he's like the president of another club, and he was like, he comes to our club. So I feel like that also like brings like more of the interconnectedness of like clubs or whatever, because like he comes to our clubs, he tells us about his events that he has going on. So like, I think that that's cool.
Yeah, because Brody, he is the president of the, did he say the Neo Black Society?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that he may not be on this call anymore. I'm not sure. But if there's anything that you guys know about or like would like to share about that, like that'd be really cool too. Maybe we'll have time for that if he wants to share, or if anybody wants to share about that. Let's see.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I was asking just about like, does the club socialize outside of club meetings? And
Well, I feel like I said, we're like friends outside the club, and then also, Brody was planning this protest coming up in September, I think. Me and Brody together actually, but he told me about it. And so we're also talking about that, and we're trying to get other Black organizations with that too. So that's another thing. And then plus, like, they're a part of other clubs too. Like, I'm part of MBS, but I mean, I try to go to meetings, but I'm a busy person, you know. And then plus, like, we have classes together, so it's like we socialize outside, and then plus, like, we have classes together, so like we see each other all the time.
very cool. Yeah. So it sounds like your club and then the Neo Black Society kind of like do some things together sometimes. So there's like maybe like, or maybe, I don't know, are people of Neo Black Society all members of AADS, like, or are they separate, or like how does that work?
I feel like there's a lot of overlap just because like there are a lot of Black organizations, like there's no one Black organization where you can be like, okay, this is the true one for Black people. Like there's a bunch, like people I know that are part of our club that are also part of what is it called, African Student Union. So it's like different, like everything comes together. Like there's a lot of overlap, and then also they have these things where you can like, what is it called, like collaborate. That's the word I'm looking for. Like people collaborate a lot, so like that's the thing too.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. Because like, why not collaborate? Like we're, you know, better when we all work together, right? So cool. My next question kind of like relates to that, and you may feel like you're just repeating yourself, but how many club members would you say are friends outside of the club?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of us, I mean, it just depends on what you decide as a friend. I mean, we all hang, I mean, some of us hang out like outside of the club. Like I know I hang out with, I think Bree's the treasurer. Me and Bree hang out all the time. And then I had a couple friends that were coming to the club, about 3 or 4 of them. And then me and Tashima, like our friends on social media, we talk all the time. Like, so it just depends, you know, it's a bunch of different things.
Yeah. So it probably just depends on like the level of friendship that you want. Like, do you want to hang out a bunch outside of the club, or do you want to just like chat sometimes on social media, all that kind of good stuff? Very cool. There may not be an answer to this, and that's okay if there's not, but how can students remain connected like after graduation, like after they leave UNCG?
I think more so like making friends within the club and then like adding them on social media and stuff like that. Like just like making friends and then like pushing to make friends. Like like you know how like sometimes you meet someone in the club and you're like, okay, I only talk to this one person in this club and that's it. But like actually pushing and like, okay, like I'm gonna add you on social media or hey, can I get your number and we can like hang out more and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that it's just like the same thing like with classmates. Like when you meet somebody in class and you're like, oh, is this the type of friend where I'm just friends with them because I'm in the class, or like should I make the friendship like more than just class? So it's like kind of pushing that friendship beyond the boundaries of the club is like the major thing. Like you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna follow you on social media. Oh, also, can I get your number? Whatever, let's hang out. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So staying connected by creating connections.
Yes, and networking with others too also helps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. Very cool. Do you guys have a mission statement, if you know it? And then maybe what are some of your values and traditions as a club?
So one of our value is to inform our members about the culture that might affect the African diaspora over here and everything, just more about Black history and things related to that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And I feel like another
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, girl.
another value is just like being welcoming because we just really wanted to, you know, enforce that, especially because like with everything, we need allies in the Black community or just Black and brown communities in general. So like really just pushing that like everybody is welcome. We need as many people as possible.
Definitely. Definitely. I think that's a really important message, especially right now. I mean, with all that's going on in the world, more allies are good. Cool. And you may not know the answer to this one, so if you don't, that's cool. We can skip it. In your experience, how have you witnessed beyond academic students engaging in your club in the past? Since you guys are a pretty like new club, or like since, you know, it was like mid-corona that things kind of started for your club, maybe you don't know if any beyond academic students, but do you know if any beyond academic students kind of hung out with your club?
No, I don't think. I'm not really sure, honestly.
Okay, that's cool. How important is diversity to your club?
I think it's really important. Like Tashima said, like the best thing that the Black and brown community can have is allies. I mean, and there's also like a difference between being an ally and like elevating Black and brown voices and also like overshadowing them, because a lot of people, especially like recently, because of the political climate, have like a lot of my white friends have reached out to me and been like, oh, I don't know, like if I should say anything, or if I'm doing too much by posting on social media or like saying stuff, or like I don't know how to whatever. But the thing is, like, one, also ask questions, because like you never know when you're overstepping, but also just saying something in general is sometimes good enough. Like not everything has to be like you have to go and stand on top of a big old rock and like yell at everybody for being racist, but like you can say something to your parents or something like that, like if they're making a sly remark. You can say something to like a cousin or aunt, whatever. You can post on social media, something like that. Like the fact that it's the African American Diaspora Studies Club doesn't mean that like that's the only kind of people that can join the club. Like diversity in everything is important, but especially during a time like this. Well, during all these times, because it's kind of been like this. But you know, let's not about this. That's a whole different conversation. The point is like, just to be there and just to be like vocal in your resistance against the status quo.
Yep. Well said. Well said. Yeah, I think it's so important. especially for, you know, I mean, everybody, Black and brown communities, as well as the white community, also indigenous communities, to come together and, you know, speak up, but also, like you said, not be afraid to ask questions. But also, I think for white people, speaking as a white person, not being afraid to mess up, but also to take that feedback when you do mess up, because you're gonna mess up. You're not perfect. Nobody is, but definitely to be able to take feedback.
And I feel like that's like where a lot of people go, well, I wouldn't say go wrong, but a lot of people are flawed in the fact that they think that critique is like somebody trying to like talk down on you or like spit in your face or something like that. Like, if we're critiquing you or we're saying, hey, this is not the right way to go about it to help us, then like you should be able to take that as a critique and not take that as like, oh, we hate you now, we don't want you to speak ever again.
Yeah, and just be able to be like, my bad, and apologize, and sincerely apologize, and then like actually take what was told to you and use it to move forward. What accommodations does your club, or could your club, I understand that you guys, you know, kind of new-ish maybe, what accommodations does your club provide for variously abled students across a range of ability? So maybe though you haven't met a whole lot, like what could you do in the future?
Well, I think like if we're having it in the class, like classroom, just to making sure like having the space that we have, I think we have a good space where like the desks move and the chairs move so that it's accessible to people. But then also if we're doing it like online, there's also, I don't know if it's on, I think it might be on Google Meets, where you can literally turn on the closed caption and it'll capture like everything that you're saying. And then like that chat box, I think that's really helpful. And then also if you're not able to like come to the meeting, being up here virtually, I think it's great as well.
Yeah. I think it's cool too with like meeting online, like you can kind of do like what I'm doing, where you could record the meeting so that like if someone's not able to attend, they could still watch and like know what y'all did later. Or like what you were talking about too, like people could like just type in the chat box if they're maybe not comfortable with saying something, or there's just a whole bunch of people and they can't figure out like, oh man, I want to say this, but I don't know when to say it. I think sometimes like chatting is helpful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like if someone is also shy and cannot be physically present in a meeting, being online will also help that person, because you can decide to show your face or not, and then just be there and be listening or be participating by typing what you want to say.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because I'm one of these people that I'm shy at first, so it's kind of hard for me like in the beginning, but then once I feel like I know you, like I'm more able to sort of like speak up and like talk and all that. But then there's just times when like, you know, I don't want people to see me because I'm in my pajamas and I just don't feel like letting people see my face. So I do like meeting online for that.
Yeah. Then like also thinking about like people who may not have like, they might not have a camera, or they might not have a laptop or something like that. It'll be easier for them to like kind of just get up here and not have to show their face and like type things in the chat.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we can't forget that like there's some folks that don't have access to a laptop or some kind of device with the camera, right? Like even this laptop that I'm talking with you today on is a rental. This isn't mine, and if I wasn't able to have access to this, then like I probably couldn't have this meeting today. So
yeah.
Does your club connect in any way to academic or career skills?
I think it does, just because like you had mentioned before, we have the African American Diaspora Studies major. So like we work together in that aspect too, because like they tell us about events that they're having, and then like we can show up and be like, okay, well, you're in this major, you're in this club, whatever, and make connections that way, like just networking in that aspect.
Definitely.
And then also looking at the list, hold on, let me pull it up. Intercultural and global understanding, like I feel like since we're really advocating for a diverse like group of people into our club, like learning about African American culture or Black culture, that fills that thing. And then
Yeah.
civic literacy and social responsibility, I feel like that also kind of goes into what we were saying, because like Gabby was saying, we're trying to have like a protest and we're trying to have like these guest speakers and trying to like get people to like do more.
Yeah, definitely. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of times students think, well, I just go to this club in my free time. It's more for me to like socialize, and like that may be true, but there's other skills and like things that you're learning, like, even the ability to communicate to a diverse population. Like there's going to be different people there that maybe don't all have the same views that you do, or like leadership skills. Like all of you guys are on the executive board, right? So like you guys have gained and are gaining leadership skills. But even if you're not on the executive board, on the like leadership team, it's still an opportunity for people to like gain skills. And I think a lot of times for clubs, it's just a matter of like thinking about like, okay, well, what skills am I getting and how do I market that, and talk to other people about that. So I definitely agree. Yeah, I sent this little, this is the co-curricular transcript. I'm trying to just plug it so that people can kind of know that, you are doing like really important stuff. Awesome. I think I hit all my questions actually. Is there anything that you want people to know that maybe I didn't ask, or maybe just something like we were talking a little bit about the Neo-Black Society? Is there anything that you guys want to add about that, or anything about anything?
Is it okay if I just put like the Instagrams and stuff in the chat and emails?
Yes, please do, because I will definitely connect students with all of that good stuff. Any kind of account that people should look out for, or maybe even just like add to their social media.
Okay, also on social media, I'm kind of like a radical, so like I'm running the social media account right now, so like if that's not, if y'all are more conservative, so like that, you might not like it, but you know what, that's okay, because we don't all have to get along. But I'm just saying, I'm just warning y'all, so yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but I don't think that you need to like warn people. I think that, I think a part of coming to college too is about being met face to face with like different opinions. So like, I appreciate that, but I think that like being met face to face with different opinions, and like, even if you don't agree, I think that's still, it's good. It's really good for people to like learn and like know that people like feel this way, and maybe they do too, or maybe they're like, okay,
Yeah,
I
and
don't
then also,
Mhm.
sorry, also I feel like it sets the grounds for like discussions and stuff like that, because we had a lot of discussions planned and stuff like that. So it's like, for me, I'll debate any place, anywhere, but I have like a really strong opinions. But the thing is, like, I am willing to listen as well. So I feel like even if you do follow our social media and you don't agree with us, like you can say like, okay, let's talk about this in our next meeting, and like we can build off that and stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah, so kind of creating a safe space or a brave space for people to come to and know that like, okay, so maybe we don't all agree on this. Let's talk about it and let's listen to each other.
And I think also highlighting the point that like, okay, we're all coming to have this conversation, but like, just know that like, we might not all exit this room with the same, like, we might not be all leaving with the same mindset. So like, just be okay with like not being on the same page.
Yeah, and that's totally okay. Like, we're gonna live, we're gonna survive, and that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's what diversity is.
Yeah, and you don't always have to be, social media is not the only way to get in touch with us. So we have a Gmail account as well. So if you feel like you're not on social media and you can't get through the Instagram or anything like that, you can just send an email to our email.
Okay.
And
Okay. Great. Thank you. Awesome. Anything else that you guys want to share or you feel like didn't get talked about enough, or any last words? No? Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay. Awesome. Well, then I am going to sign off here. I'm going to say thank you, and then I'm going to stop recording.